Harding family. So my name is Davey. It's my wife Jackie. Go in order here. So Emery, Gavin, Maddox, Cora, and Jude. In 2021, we had decided to move to Aledo, Texas, and so there was a period of about 10 or 11 months where we knew we were moving, but we hadn't moved yet, and so we started checking out churches virtually to see, okay, what churches locally to Aledo are going to be solid, that are going to meet our family's needs, that are going to speak biblical truth. And so we started attending virtually the church at the Crossing. And one of the first things we heard from Pastor Lee was a call to the congregation to, hey, if you're still at home from COVID, it's time to come back. And for us, that really resonated because we had felt as a family more and more isolated and disconnected from a church that we had attended for 16 or 17 years. And so to finally to hear that was just such a calling of, wow, this is exactly what we had been hoping for, been wishing for here at home. And now we're seeing that same sentiment shared all the way in Texas. That was our first calling that, hey, this is probably the place we need to really start exploring more seriously as a family.
And then we came for pancake breakfast a few days after we moved here. I don't think we even sat down and ate because everyone was so hospitable and they were talking to us and introducing themselves. And I think that was just confirming for us, just coming from a place of isolation to a place where people were hungry to meet one another and just to make our family feel welcome.
We've seen the Lord work in a number of ways, and I think one of the first things that was evident, even just going back to how we found the Church at the Crossing, was that the truth of God's Word is central to this church. And we see it every week in our teaching, we see it in the children's ministry, and so just God is working through our volunteer staff and our pastoral staff just to instill the truth of God's Word both to our congregation, into our community, and to our kids in the youth ministry. We've seen God work both in the outreach ministries that have happened at the Crossing. We think of the Pumpkin Palooza most recently, through the crosswalk during Easter, as well as just even more locally, just with Fort Worth, the refugee ministry, and then even internationally with the Cambodia ministries. It's just, God has been working. It is such a small congregation, a small church in Texas, to have a reach in its community, in its larger city, in the Metroplex, as well as internationally. It's just been cool to be a part of that in the small ways we have.
We serve in Cross Youth Middle School Ministry on Sunday mornings, and then I'm also here on Wednesday nights, and that's been really enjoyable. I love it, and hopefully my daughter doesn't mind me being there either.
Yeah, we've served in children's ministry for about 15 years, from elementary school, middle school, high school, college ministry. We feel like the middle school's always been a sweet spot because it's the hardest to find volunteers, so there's always a need for middle school volunteers, but it's also such a critical age where kids are trying to find themselves and trying to figure out how they fit in and challenging their faith and start questioning things, and to be alongside of them and their parents through those, tough years has always brought us joy to be able to kind of help direct them and point them to Christ.
We're the Hardings, and we love our church.